All right, welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Columbia Association Board Operations Committee for tonight, August 25th, 2025. As discussed, we will continue to uphold principles of civility and ethics in this space, guided by our code of conduct, ethics policy, and Robert's Rules of Order. As with last quarter's BOC meeting, other board members are welcome to attend, but all voting members will be recognized to speak, since all board members will rotate through voting roles this fiscal year. Given the operational sausage-making nature of BOC meetings, I'll also take a more flexible approach to the recognize twice rule. Comments will be welcome as long as they remain relevant, non-repetitive, and respectful of the committee's time. That said, please continue to wait to be recognized before speaking. Finally, I want to be clear and remind everyone that BOC meetings are not intended for full deliberation or debate on agenda items. Those in-depth discussions, wow, I can't speak tonight. Those in-depth discussions will take place during full board meetings, assuming an item is forwarded out of committee. With that said, these are the procedures we'll be using to conduct tonight's meeting. I'll now call the roll of voting members in attendance. Reg.
Here.
Mike.
Here.
Sean.
Here.
Ashley.
Here.
And I am here. Very good. Before we continue, just a quick reminder to everyone in the room tonight. Tonight's BOC meeting is being audio and video recorded, and the recording will be posted on CEA's YouTube channel for public viewing. Please remember to keep your microphones off unless you've been recognized to speak. We now move to the approval of the agenda for the BOC itself.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all approve? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, by consent, we have approved the BOC's agenda. Residents who were participating, resident speak out, were asked to submit to the board portal. Julia, do I, nothing, okay, great. Approval of the minutes by consent. Are there any objections to the minutes as presented? Hearing none, the consent agenda moves forth and the minutes are approved. Do we have any admin items?
No.
Great. Okie dokie, moving right on. We are beginning tonight with the September 11th, 2025 board meeting town hall. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
Second, or yes, moved.
Yeah, I'll second.
Mike, Ashley, okie doke. Sean?
Yes, so we've had some discussion at the board meetings about having a town hall meeting. I think it's been productive. It's actually been well received, the people that have heard about it, so we're excited. In preparing the agenda, we thought it would be good to have some structure to the meeting, not a lot, but light. So we've broken it up into 4 agenda items. The first is kind of combining it with the budget kickoff, which would be the FY27 financial overview and budget kickoff, but CFO Sean will be providing that. Community programs and services overview, Dan Burns will be present to give, these are quick 15, 20-minute presentations followed by 10 minutes of questions. We wanted to break them up a half-hour segments. They're not set in stone. They can be loose if the chair and the vice chair decide to go longer or shorter, that's fine. But it gives people an opportunity to, and the purpose of the presentations is to just answer some questions people may have that can be answered, that are general questions we get, and then it'll give opportunity to maybe ask more in-depth or more detailed questions. After community programs and services, Jeremy will be present to talk about community operations. And then lastly, I will present on the board's adopted goals, recently adopted goals, to fill the members in on that. After that, we proposed to leave time for just general questions from the public. And then however long that takes to kind of finish up the meeting. So that's the plan. We have not had a town hall, so this is a work in progress. There was a listening session done 10 years ago in 2014. This is a little different now. So I think this is a good little bit of a structure to have in place. And then, you know, it's like I said, this is not so agenda driven that it's set in stone. So if it wants to be modified, it can be modified during the meeting.
Okay, Ashley?
Great. That sounds great. I'm glad. One of my first things was going to be, because I saw the 30-minute segments, I was going to ask about, well, what about questions if they had, right? Because that's part of the idea with the town hall. Is it going to be live or internet
No,
hybrid
it will not be hybrid. It will be
Because I thought it was
live.
gonna be recorded.
It will be live streamed and it will be recorded.
Okay, but they no online participants.
Yes, we're doing it at Slayton House, and the technology is not there to do like a hybrid that would be efficient.
Okay, and then we have residents speak out in the beginning. Is there any possibility, I mean, I get the idea, especially in a regular board meeting, that we lead with the people who are present in the very beginning to speak out. My concern is dedicating that time to speak out when it may cover a lot of the topics that we're going to hear about. And I think it would be more informative and fruitful if the residents speak out and questions came after they heard about a topic, as opposed to them having no context for anything in the very beginning whenever they start asking questions or making statements. Anybody have thoughts on that?
My thought is, are you making an amendment?
I don't actually even know if it's possible, or like if Robert's rules requires residents speak out to be in the very beginning
I
of a
think,
meeting, because if
John,
not,
do you wanna?
I don't think there's any reason you can't change
Change
it.
the order?
Yeah, you could do whatever you want.
Yeah.
There's nothing required in the law to do that. So if you wanted to make it last, you
Yeah.
could do that. However you want
So-
to work it.
yeah, I like specifically for this, right? Because it's supposed to be informative and getting information, you know, from the residents as well. Then I would like to motion that residents speak out, go towards the end, because it will also allow more time to answer questions in a more informed way. I think, again, like all the attendees, I think it'll be more beneficial to them to ask questions at the end instead of at the beginning, or whatever their statements are.
So if I can, we're gonna move residents speak out to be effectively item 9, because we're just gonna shift everything.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so Ashley is suggesting or made a motion to move residents speak out to item 9. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion?
Yes,
Mike?
I would like to actually also make hopefully a friendly amendment that, you know, we clarify on here, like we take off this stuff about like submitting a speak out form and everything, because the point of this town hall is to let people engage in conversations so that we're talking to one another, not at one another. So I think we just want to clarify on here that, hey, it's not really something to note that, hey, this isn't a normal resident speak out. It's going to be a much more informal back and forth between everyone about the presentations you just heard. So I don't know, like, I mean, I could
Wordsmith it? Yeah.
wordsmith it. I don't think that's necessary unless, Sean, you think that's necessary.
I think you could probably just explain it at the beginning of the meeting, the rationale, and the people there will understand it.
Yeah, that's my thought. So I would just say, like, have a note on here that's residents speak out, but like a modified format for residents speak out.
Yeah.
So people know can look at the agenda and know it's not going to be the same. Is that so that was my amendment.
So, I'm sorry. So we'll have to make a note that they will not register for resident speak out.
Right. The whole
And then you'll talk about, I guess we did this with the workshop. I mean, I know that didn't go well with the resident speak out, but I think we'll kind of do the same thing. Just say like, just come prepared with comments for resident speak out, and don't submit them don't register ahead of time.
well, it's just not. It's that resident speak out is going to be just a different format, right? We're going to have the presentations, and then we're going to break, and you're going to be able to talk to one another, right? So it's not even that like. I don't even want to make it sound like, yeah, come prepared with your written remarks and they're going to be read in. That's not what's going on. It's you're actually going to be able to talk to one another instead of like making a statement and then moving off the podium.
So I have right now that Mike is suggesting a friendly amendment to Ashley to have some verbiage that this is going to be a modified format of resident speak out. So Ashley, are you accepting that
Yes.
friendly amendment? Okay,
Yeah.
very good. Reg.
Actually,
oh, sorry.
like removing the sign up, which is kind of what you alluded to, right? Like you don't need to sign up in advance, makes way more sense, because then we're also not spending time going through calling for somebody that couldn't show up that night, right? And
Right.
trying to find them. So at least if they sign up in person, we know that they're there.
Reg.
Okay, thank you. So first, I support what you're saying here. Surprise, but I do support. I think it's a great way to do this, because this is supposed to be an opportunity for the residents to say something. I am I was concerned when I saw the 30 minutes for several presentations, but then you said, hey, we're going to be flexible. So I like that. And I think we need to be flexible. I think we need to make sure that we have a lot of sufficient time for residents to say whatever they have to say. So if we could do that somehow, I think we're good.
So why don't we get through Ashley's amendment and then maybe.
Yep.
go
I
back
just
to-
have one comment that I want to, and I kind of am agreeing exactly with what you were saying, Reg. One of the things that I'm thinking about is, yeah, and to Sean's point, I think that there's going to be a lot of like, we're going to see how this evening goes, and because we're going to be trying it out, this is a new format for us.
Mhm.
The board may come to a decision where we may not even need a formal quote unquote resident speak out because we've been doing it all night anyway, and we might be able to save that 20 minutes and keep having conversation. But again, I don't know. I think that's a decision that we make the night of and just plan on having residents speak out, kind of the structured resident speak out last. So, yeah. Any other, Mike?
Yeah, I guess that is different than what I was envisioning, that we're just not having a structured resident speak out, or we're saying that the resident speak out just takes a completely different form,
Mhm.
and it takes the form of us breaking into a more informal thing where residents can approach any board member and talk to whoever they want.
Oh, so you don't want delivered comments versus they're walking up to the mic for the entire room to hear. You want them to be able to
Right.
go up to an individual.
So,
Right.
my question actually would be for John. Do we still, yeah, I don't know.
Well, the HOA Act says you have to have an opportunity to have residents talk at every meeting, which resident speak out serves. Doesn't say how or what or when. However, you've approved internal rules and practices that you get 3 minutes for an individual and 5 minutes for a group. If you were to follow your format, that's what you do. I mean, in terms of legally, there's not a problem doing whatever you want. The only one thing I would suggest, and it may be not until you get there, you won't know, but I don't think anybody wants to be there till 3 in the morning.
Yep.
Mhm.
So, I mean, you can judge how many people are in the room and say, well, because we have 100 people, you get 2 minutes each or something. But I'm afraid if you don't give a limit up front, people are going to just talk and talk and talk. And you might want to just get a handle on that first. I mean, there's nothing you can do now, I think, because I guess you could do it now, but I don't know. I mean, if you have 5 people there, you can let them talk for 10 minutes each or 15 or whatever, but you don't have to. But in terms of modified resident speak out, I mean, I would hope that people would be flexible enough to do it. It's just complying with your internal policies.
Yep. Mike?
Yeah, I mean, the whole point of this town hall is to enable people to talk to one another. And we'd be shooting ourselves in the foot if we have a lengthy residence or we're doing this because residents speak out is really a bad way to hear from residents. Like, I don't know who thinks it's good, but it is a really bad way to actually engage with residents. And we'll be undermining the whole point of town hall if we dedicate a large, unknown chunk of time to doing the same old thing all over again. So we should definitely not put it at the beginning, get through these presentations, and then get to the part where we're informally engaging with people.
Reg?
So I do believe that resident speak out is a good thing, a very good thing, but that's different opinions. But I think we do need to make sure that we say up front, these are the rules, because we are going to get someone who's going to get before a microphone or stand up and start to, lambaste one of us or all of us, whatever. I think we do need to set some kind of rules so that everybody understands that, hey, you're not going to be up there forever. You're not going to preach and do a sermon to us. This is, let's have a conversation and civility.
Okay, so just to hold on, I want to remind folks, we're still on Ashley's amendment, which is we're moving resident speak out to item 9. with Mike's friendly amendment that there's going to be verbiage of it being, saying that it's a modified format, just to remind everyone where we're at.
Yep.
Ashley,
Hey.
did you have something?
What, I'm curious what the room setup is. Like, are we capable of having individual buckets of people to talk? Is it conducive to that?
I mean, right
we even
now,
know yet?
what we had talked about was, there's some presentations, so they, up on the stage at Slayton House, we're actually gonna have the board and SLT members sit up there with the screen lowered so that people can see it. There's a screen in the back. And then, because we didn't know what we'd have for attendance.
Yeah.
And then there's a podium up front for people to come up and ask questions or have their speak up. And then afterwards, it depends on, what the board would like to see. It can just be more like a mingling with the crowd. So it's really how you want to set those rules. But to give the presentations and to answer questions, I thought it would be more effective to have the board kind of like this, but up and talking to the crowd.
But then the point is to break and allow for mingling. I think Ashley's question was, is the space conducive for mingling? Was that your?
Yeah.
It depends on how
How many people
I mean,
show
I don't
up?
think we're gonna get
Yeah.
Slayton House knows a lot of people. So between the fixed seats and the floor seats, I think there'll be plenty of room for everybody.
Is it the room that they hold their village board meetings in?
No, it's still the Fifth Theater.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know if I've been in there.
Do you know what the size or how many people are, the capacity? You know what the capacity is by chance?
Yeah, we can find out.
200.
That was
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, that's
okay.
plenty.
Yeah. So even if we just grab separate chairs, I agree, there should be an informal interaction. My concern is how that gets broken up. Are you imagining individual board members going to different spaces or groups of board members, staff intermingled with it? What's the,
And so that could be like some of the facilitation, right? So we could easily say, if you're interested in the FY27, you're going to go in that corner. If you're interested in community programs, you're going to go in that corner. And I think people can clump in that kind of way, but I think that could definitely be facilitation.
There's also space in the lobby.
Yeah.
It's a large lobby too, and when we've had events there, if we do things in the lobby, you can meet in there as well.
got it. Yeah, I think if there's some structure to it, which again, I'm really glad that there's structure in terms of the presentations and then the focus on topics, because what I don't want also is a whole bunch of, oh, I don't know the answer to that, and I'll get back to you about stuff, right? So I think it'll depend on if there's specific topics that we have in mind as it's happening.
So I'd like to call the question if folks are okay with that. So again, it is to move resident speak out to item 9 with verbiage that it will be a modified format.
Yep. But it's not really
Mike, do you have?
parsed out.
I'm just concerned we're not on the same page of what that modified means.
Yes.
So I'm hearing that it is informal conversation that is that's still facilitated, right?
How's it going to be facilitated?
I think it's still going to be facilitated by topic categories that if people are interested in X spaces. So again, if you're interested in FY26 board goals, you're going to go to this corner. If you're
So we'll
interested.
have 4 groups informally discussing?
Sure, but within those groups, it could just be you and me having a conversation,
Okay.
or that whole group could have a conversation. I think flexibility and informality will be structured to that time so that if people don't even want to engage with those 4, they could go out to the lobby and have a conversation, right? I think that there's some language that we could say during the meeting for that.
Okay.
Reg.
Sorry, but do you envision possibly some of the people want to speak to us individually? Say, for instance, someone from Longridge, hey, there's my rep, let me go talk with them.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that?
Yep. Now that I'm confident we're on the same page of what the modified format for
Are
that
we
is.
okay with me calling a question then?
I think we all want.
Okay, great. So again, we have an amendment to move resident speak out to item 9 with verbiage and it's a more modified format. Reg,
Sorry, yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Sean,
Yes.
Ashley,
Yes.
and I will vote yes. Okey doke. We are back on the main motion as amended. Mike,
So this is getting back to what the other part of Reg's first comment, that I do think I would like us to move through the formal presentations faster than 2 hours and maximize the amount of time for the
Conversations.
conversations.
Are you making an amendment?
I want to ask a question of Sean of like, how long do you think these presentations actually are, or is that still up in the air? And
No, we've talked about it internally. We really didn't want the presentations to be more than 15 or 20 minutes. So, you know, in looking at this, we have, I guess, thinking of the structure. I was like, all right, 30 minutes. Like, here's finance, 15-minute presentation, or 15, 20 minutes, and then 10, 15 minutes for questions. So what we can do maybe is just say, well, if it's a 15-minute presentation, we'll make sure that we're tight with 15 minutes. And so maybe I just change these items to 15 minutes, and then we see where it goes. And maybe the conversation afterwards goes 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and then it's just, all right, on to the next 15-minute
Yeah.
presentation. So do you want us to change that? to
so yes,
15?
I'll make a motion to change those each to 15 minutes.
Oh, boy.
And then any questions they had would go, sorry, I immediately went to discussion.
Hold on. So, Mike, you're proposing that items, oh boy, because now my numbers are mixed up. It would be 5 through.
You're picking up what I'm laying down, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So the 4 items are going to be 15 minutes each. Sorry, Julia, for doing the minutes, but hopefully you'll know what I mean. So,
And
our,
I think Reg just seconded.
okay, 4 items will be 15 minutes each. Moved by Mike, seconded by Reg. Is there any discussion, Ashley?
I think that makes a lot of sense because then they'll be able to talk to those people if they're interested in that topic. If they had questions, comments on it, they can go to that topic for the more informal actual conversation as opposed to delivering marks to the board and staff. Yeah.
I'm going to call the question then. Do you have something, Sean?
Nope.
Okay. So we are adjusting those 4 items to be 15 minutes each. Reg,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Sean,
Yes.
Ashley,
Yes.
and I will vote yes. Mike?
I have a question though. Are we planning to do formal questions after each individual presentation now, or we just cancel that?
That would go away and they would
Okay.
talk at the end. Yeah.
Okay,
In the informal.
Oh,
Is
yeah,
that
however,
okay?
I mean,
Yeah.
you can make that decision that night too. So.
yep, okay.
So we just saved, what, an hour?
Well, I don't know that it's saving, it's really.
It's
reallocating.
Right, yeah.
But what I'm suggesting is that we put that on for the resident speak out.
To increase the time.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
So if we just saved an hour, then I would say maybe that should say 80 minutes instead of 20.
Correct.
Yes.
Is there a motion to
Motion
Ashley?
to increase to 80 minutes.
Second.
All right. My spreadsheet doesn't recognize Mike. It has to accept Michael, which is annoying, but I'll fix it later. Okay, so increase from 20 minutes to 80. Any discussion? Okey doke. Reg,
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Sean?
Yes.
Ashley?
Yes.
And I will vote yes. All right, we are on the main motion, which is the 9/11 Town Hall meeting as amended. Are there any other discussion? Okey dokey. I'm going to call the question on the main motion then, which again is the agenda as amended. Reg,
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Sean?
Yes.
Ashley?
Yes.
And I will vote yes. 5000, that passes. We will now move on to our next agenda, which is on September 25th. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Is there a
Second.
second? Reg, Sean?
Yes, so the agenda items under old business is the ethics policy that the board has seen. So this will be up for discussion again. John was going to present the ethics policy. Under new business, it's kind of our usual budget scheduling is the FY27 budget discussion. Looking for feedback and some start to work on what the board's strategic priorities for the budget. Also, their first quarter financial reports to review. So those will be presented. And then as part of kind of the budget process, and those board members that were here last year, remember that Dan Burns came in to give an overview of community programs and services. I thought that was a great presentation. It was informative for the board and the public, so he'll be doing that again. And then I thought it would be good to have an agenda item for the town hall recap to just discuss how it went and what was successful and what we can work on in the future.
Okey dokey.
Got a
Thank you.
question.
Reg?
So, should, the town hall meeting recap, shouldn't that be in the old business? I'm just questioning, just wondering. What do you think?
I think it's kind of, I get what you're saying, and I have no problem moving it there. I think it's kind of immaterial. It's not like we're voting on anything.
Yeah, I mean, we can move it to old business. I'm fine with that. All right, so Reg, you want to move 8D to 7B.
Roger.
Is there a second? Mike, were you seconding that?
I'll second.
Oh,
Well,
Ashley?
Can you just accept it as a friendly? So
Oh,
Except I didn't change anything.
you made the main motion, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, sorry, yes.
okay.
I forgot that counted.
Friendly. there
And
you
also,
go.
just to confirm, there is nothing we're voting on in this meeting, right?
Well, hold on. I've got a question
Okay.
about that.
So we have a friendly amendment to the agenda, so now 8D is 7B, so we don't
Yep.
need to vote on that, so we're good to
Okay.
go there.
Thank
Okay,
you.
So
Mike.
now to Ashley's point, I mean, this is at least the third time we've talked about the ethics policy, and I don't want to throw people off if we want to have a vote. So, like, is there any reason we can't have a vote on the ethics policy?
No, you could vote on it.
So we should, just to avoid confusion, we should probably note that, because I see, just scrolling down to the next meeting.
Yep.
We have vote specified, so I just don't want to
Yeah.
have people,
Ashley, would you accept that as a friendly
Yes,
amendment?
absolutely.
To know that 7A is a vote. Okey dokey. Any other discussion? Rich?
I just noticed that, we have a vote on the ethics policy, in October. Is that, so were you saying just move it up?
it's not really moving it up. It's just that I think we might want to vote on it
Mhm,
in September.
mhm.
And so I just want to make sure the agenda is clear so that people aren't caught off guard by that and think that
Okay.
they're being caught by surprise. And I think when we get to October, we should just leave it on there as a placeholder, but maybe it'll be OBE and we won't need to have it in October.
Okay.
Any other discussion on this agenda?
I'm not gonna make a motion. What's the community program and services overview? What's just that gonna?
So I thought it was helpful last year. Dan Burns gives his presentation basically about community programs and services, but a lot of it, he touches on memberships, but he also spends some time talking about the discounted programs that we
Okay.
offer and the value of that and the kind of the quantity and the breadth. So I thought that's informative for the public to see. So if they don't know about it, they can take advantage of it if they see it, but also for the board to know as we start to
Okay.
look at the budget.
I think an annual update on that makes sense anyway, right? Because the
Mhm.
numbers are gonna change each time. That's great.
All right, last call for discussion. All right, we are on the main motion then, which is the September 25th agenda. There were two friendly amendments moving item 8D to 7B, and we're denoting that 7A will have vote.
Yep.
All right, Reg,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Sean,
Yes.
Ashley,
Yes.
and I will vote yes. 5-0. On to the next agenda, which is on October 23rd. Can I get a motion?
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Reg, Sean.
Okay, so continuing with the budget process, there'll be a possible vote on the budget, the board's strategic priorities for the FY27 budget. We also have the ethics policy on here again. We just talked about that. The board wanted to pursue the president CEO evaluation policy and procedure. We should have that ready to present to the board. But we definitely will have that ready for that meeting. And then I also have a summer programming update. As you know, we modified some of the summer program this year. It added some new programming events. They were very successful. So I wanted the team to come in to kind of talk about that. What went well and what kind of some things to work on for next year, which is to expand on this. So that's great. Under new business, I'll have Jeremy in to talk about open space operations. Similar to Dan's, it'll be a little bit shorter, but really just to inform the board about, what that division does and what they're working on. And I think it's helpful as part of this budget process to kind of hear what's going on and where they're at as an overview. Next, we have some organizational structure updates to inform the board on. We're doing some things internally to be more efficient, provide better service to the community, but more organization wide. So I'll be here to present that information. And that's it. The usuals.
Mike?
Same thing. Is there any reason we don't say vote on the eval policy? Because that's not on November again.
We can do that. Well, that's a question for John, I think. Would that be considered seen
second
3
or
times?
third?
It's been discussed multiple times.
Yeah, I guess. I guess it has. I think because so many times you could probably do it.
Okay.
So Ashley, friendly amendment for,
Accepted.
so we're denoting that 7D says vote. Okay,
Okay.
any other discussion?
Just out of curiosity, under old business, you have A, B, then
Oh.
D. Where's C?
Get that corrected.
We will get that.
Then
Very good.
E.
Good catch, good catch. Any other discussion? And actually, I'm assuming that the syntax is also accepted as a friendly
Yes.
amendment. Great.
Yeah.
All right. We have the October 23rd agenda with 2 friendly amendments accepted, which was to update the lettering and then denote that 7, which should be C, 7C will say vote.
I think Jeremy's trying to.
Oh, sorry, Jeremy.
I apologize, just a technicality. It should be community operations overview. I just want to make sure it's clear that it's not an open space focused. Just-
Okay.
Friendly
I'm
amendment.
sure it's understood, but I wanted to clarify that before it became final.
I'm assuming Ashley is accepting.
Yeah,
friendly
oh, yeah,
amendment.
sorry, I'm nodding silently, yes. Please.
All right, so the community operations overview. Very good. All right. Reg,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Sean,
Yes.
Ashley,
Yes.
and I will vote yes. 500, that carries. And now we are on, I believe, our last agenda for the night, which is November 13th. Can I get a motion?
Motion to approve?
Ashley, second.
Second.
Reg, Sean.
Okay. So this is under old business, the board established goals. So I'll be in just to give an update on those goals, just to kind of where we're at that point in time. It's almost halfway through the fiscal year. We have tentatively scheduled Congresswoman Sarah Elfreth to come in to present to the board on what is going on in Washington and how she's representing the area. So she'll be in for that. And then we'll have a draft 2027 operating budget and capital allocations for the board to take a look at. Sean will be into, Sean's CFO, Sean will be in to present that. And, oh, I missed one. We have an overview of the villages that we provide every year, their financials that we provide to the board. So that takes a little bit of time. We've allocated an hour for that, but because it does take some time to do that.
All right, any discussion? Mike.
So we should definitely not make the Congresswoman sit
Wait.
through all that stuff.
As I was reading through these, I was thinking, I'm like, we should probably move this.
Good catch.
But I'm wondering where people think it's appropriate to move it to, like before or after Columbia update. Like maybe that is worth having her sit through, right? Before or
Yeah, I'd move it
After-
to 5,
move it to 5. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
so
get that, yeah.
because Columbia update's like a good welcome.
Yeah.
Here's what's
Right.
happening.
so we're just doing that as a friendly amendment then?
Yes.
Great.
Mhm.
Okay, so, well, why can't I find it? 8B is now item 5,
And everything else gets bumped
and
down.
everything else gets bumped. Okay,
Now, again, I'm not sure I have a motion for this, but I'm a little like, I'm glad she's it's awesome that she's coming, right? Congressman Sarbanes has never done there any, as far as I know, no previous congressional representatives ever come like that. So that's very, that's, I don't know, the adjective. It's a good adjective. But a couple concerns is one, I think one of the problems that often faces the board is that people mistakenly view us as like a local municipality that is like somehow representing them to higher authorities. And that's not the case, right? And so just having her in here, I'm kind of concerned that will contribute to that. And then also, you know, we're a 501c4 and we're not supposed to be endorsing folks. And I am kind of worried that people will be tempted to get into a political conversation that, you know, I'm not that worried about it, but could like cause some legal headache. And so I don't think that it requires any change. I just think that there's like some communication that needs to go out ahead of time, both to the board and maybe to the congresswoman of like, hey, like try to keep those things in mind as we're talking. I don't know if that makes sense to everyone else, but
Yeah, it does.
Do you have any thoughts, Sean?
Yeah, I think, I mean, I guess you can frame it a variety of ways. I mean, there's, you know, a lot of voters that live in Columbia that kind of fall under CA, and, you know, she represents them. So it's, you know, I think it's CA kind of using some of its inertia to have their representative in just to present where things are at. I understand what you're saying. Like, we don't want to come across as, you know, we're picking sides or anything, but as she's been the elected representative, and, you know, she can come in and speak to her constituents.
In terms of topics, is it going to be Columbia, like things that are specifically impacting Columbia residents? Because
Probably, I mean, it's up to her, but
Yeah.
I would imagine it's really just an update on what is going on in Washington and how that relates to, you know, Columbia, Howard County, and the state as a whole.
Reg?
Now that you said that, I kind of have a concern too. I mean, obviously she's invited, so you can't really uninvite her, but I am concerned as to which way this might go. It might turn out to come back and bite us, and that, but I do think it's a great idea for her to show up. I think it's a great idea for her to see her constituents, but I could see Mike's point that it really could lead to unintended consequences.
I am also just wondering, do we know what an outcome is of this?
I can tell you, earlier, well, this spring, later in the spring, she was at Slayton House with Senator Alsobrooks and some other representatives, and really just talking about, you know, what are some resources for federal workers that maybe have been displaced. Also some veteran services. They talked about, you know, what is out there for people just to be informed about what's going on if they need services for different things. So it was more related to, it's been a lot of transition with the administration, what people do have for options and who they can contact. So it's really providing those resources. That'll probably be most of it, I would imagine.
Mike?
so I guess my concern is, or my recommendation is that I think there just needs to be some clear internal messaging to the board, right? That we were elected to be the governing authority for this nonprofit organization, not to represent the community on federal issues, right? And it's going to be really tempting for people to say like, okay, I've got a congresswoman in front of me, like I want to let her know my opinion on Social Security or tariffs or anything, but we weren't elected into these positions because of that, right? And so I just think we need to be really careful with what we use our positions here to talk to her about.
John, did you want to?
Yeah, I understand the concerns. I think, you know, and obviously she's a very important elected official. But I mean, I think it has relevance to a private corporation, which we are, because we've got several changes happening in Washington. And I think even as a private corporation, to have someone like that to say, I'm on the inside, here's what I see happening, because you have to make decisions on the budget based on the numbers. I mean, I think if she focuses on those type things, yeah, I don't expect you're gonna bring people up here and say, oh, I haven't got a call back from the VA and whatever. But I mean, I think to the extent that she focuses on what Sean said, services, but also, the budget, what's going on, what she sees happening, are there gonna be more layoffs, or are there not? What bills are in Congress? I mean, I think those are directly relevant to what you do and what you have to approve with the budget. So that if we stick to those things, I think that's perfectly fine.
I agree, and that's kind of what I'm getting at, is we just need some internal communication, be like, hey, stick to those things,
Mhm.
and don't, Columbia's got a lot of progressive ideals that are, probably the right ideals, but that's not what we're supposed to be lobbying for in this necessarily case, right?
Okay, any other discussion on this agenda?
Just clarification that there are no votes occurring.
Correct.
Great.
Any other discussion? All right, so we have the agenda as presented with 8B as now item 5. Reg,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Sean,
Yes.
Ashley,
Yes.
and I will say yes. 5000. I believe that concludes those agendas. Sean,
it.
am I missing anything?
you got it.
Nope. All right, is there a
Motion to
motion to adjourn? Ashley, is there a second?
Yes.
Any objection? Great, let's go home.